Community Viewpoint with John Pollock and Maria Hurst.
And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm your host today, John Pollock. And we have the honor and pleasure to have with us today a local artist from Tecopa, Nancy Good. And she's a relatively new resident from out there. And we'll do a segment on art. I know you want to know a little bit more about art. We have our own Prump Arts Council, and then we have the art community of Tecopa, where you have a display right now over at the Tecopa Hot Springs Resort. And that began when and how long is this going to be there?
That began November 17th. We hung the show and had an opening reception, and that will run through mid-November, so it's still going to be on for another month.
Okay. And what are the hours over there? Usually on weekends, or is they may open during the week too?
They are open during the week. They have kind of some odd hours, usually noon to 4 or 5 o'clock during the week, and the weekends are a little bit extended.
But if you want to call ahead, it's the number is 760-852-4420. That's the number of the Tecopa Hot Springs Resort, and whoever's there will give you the current hours, and if they're open at the time, if you want to go check out some of the artistry of this lovely lady. Should we do the art? Why are you in Tecopa to begin with? What brought you out there?
My friends ask me that all the time. Why are you in Tecopa? And my family even. But one, I love the desert.
Yes.
I do spend half my time in Las Vegas as well, so I love the desert. Because I'm also a fine art photographer, and love landscape photography and the austerity and the very severe, sometimes, beauty of the desert. I tend to want to immerse myself in it, and to do so, you have to be there. And so Tecopa and Inyo County, Death Valley, that whole area has some of the most remarkable desert scenery that you can see, that's also very accessible.
That's why we have so many colleges and universities coming out there with their geology students, because everything is right before your eyes. It's not covered by brush, trees, and whatnot. You can see the different formations.
Right.
And this is where I'm from. Well, you're from the Midwest too. For some years, everything had vegetation on it. So this is, you see the way the earth was formed, the way it's been forming, the way it is forming too. So this is a wonderful place on earth to see things like that. And then plus you're fairly close to Las Vegas. If you're in Tecopa, you just hour and 15 minutes maybe.
Hour and a half away from home there, and of course 40 minutes from Pahrump. So still accessible to anything we need.
Yeah, and you go to the First Fridays over there down in.
I do. I actually exhibit almost every First Friday. I think I have since last March or April at Theater 7, which is on the south end of the Arts District in downtown Las Vegas. And then, try to exhibit elsewhere as well when I can. The gallerist that runs the Theater 7, Daryl Martin, has a gallery in Boulder City as well, and so I exhibit there and saw there.
Yeah, so there's those exhibits down there. If we're looking for something different to do, if we like the art, that is some place to go. The First Friday, I believe it was the people from Zappos have perfected that. They've taken it over the First Fridays, and they're forming a real great place to go and be, which is the downtown area of Las Vegas on the First Friday. So if we're looking for something different to do, a little bit of culture. And this would be great to do something like that.
Great people watching, great art to see.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. So rather than go to Walmart to watch people, we can go someplace else to do that. But if you would, let's look at some of the art that you have that you're showing over in Tecopa. Let's look what's on the screen first. I'll have Ryan show those. And I think the first two were from Tecopa.
The first two are from Tecopa. I am working from memory here, knowing that what I have hanging there right now. Several pieces are mixed media pieces involving digital photography that has then been manipulated. And I actually brought a sample of one of the hummingbird images.
Let's go back to life.
That gets incorporated into the mixed media pieces. I'm hoping I'm not glaring too much on light, but I will start with a hummingbird that I've photographed, isolate the body itself, the figure of the hummingbird, and then have a layering technique that I've developed over the years, and we'll then work that, then create a separate background for the hummingbird, and then create an entire piece out of it with the mixed media. So it can be a long process for each piece. I think the hummingbird images themselves, I did 14, 15 of them, was 9 months to create just the hummingbird images. And then
Very labor intensive, yes.
very labor intensive, but labors of love, and put a lot of good thoughts and spirit and love into every piece. And then there were also in Tecopa original paintings, acrylic paintings, incorporating the organic materials from the area there, so the organic clays of Tecopa. And I've heard, and I guess I'm glad I didn't hear ahead of time, I've heard from other artists that, wow, it's very difficult to include organic materials in paints, and I didn't know that to begin with, so I wasn't afraid to try, and apparently it works for me. And so I like doing kind of abstract desert scenes. And then I also really enjoy very kind of controlled graphic design, and so I know there's at least one piece over there in Tecopa that I think there's still a picture of, that in fact was the first piece that sold over there. Someone really got it.
Was that the Braille?
Yes, the Braille. It was called Code 2, and it was part of a series that I've begun called The Code Within. And I love incorporating symbols and kind of hidden messages, but all very positive. So that particular piece had Braille for love in it.
Oh, that's what it said? Sweet. Yeah. Okay, so do we showed those two, and then the other three are from?
I think the next two pictures are from, I had an exhibit at the Contemporary Arts Center in Las Vegas, which is in the Arts Factory, and so that was part of First Friday, but then it showed there for a month. And I had a piece that's really surprised me that I ended up selling 3 copies of. It's unusual because original art you don't think of making copies of unless you're doing a print of. Digital photography, you're able to reproduce your pieces, but because of how I mount the pieces or present the pieces, I still incorporate painting. So I had to physically create new painted boards for the photographic image, but people loved them and kept saying, "I want that one. I want that one." So yeah, it was really a surprise, and it's a new technique that I've developed where I will take a board and paint specifically for the photographic image that's either printed on aluminum or something else and go on top. And people are really responding to that because it has a visual feel of a framed image without the frame, without the glass, without the matting. So
Interesting. So we went through all those pictures then, Ryan? Okay, great.
And then I think the last picture was at Theater 7, which is a wall that I recently hung there for the last First Friday. And that will show some of the examples of the painted boards that the photographs have been mounted on.
So interesting other things that we have here. Let's pull this one because it's closest to me.
Yeah.
Which camera? This one here? Yes. You don't need to see me, but this one is.
This is an acrylic piece. I have been experimenting a lot with new techniques. I've been a photographer for years, a fine art photographer for years, a digital artist, and then as I started to get more and more into the creation of art, it seemed like a natural progression to go further and learn more. And I have been painting since I was a child, but I got far removed from it, due to life and experience and things like that. And so
Life sucks sometimes.
yeah,
too.
well,
No,
it can be very
Sorry about
interesting.
that, yes.
So, and this is an example of just a photograph that I've embellished with paints as well, and then
This works very well.
taking found objects and creating mounts for them. Even though this is not a traditional frame, this is
No, but
old construction products that I've
it
put
works.
together and create a graphic art piece. And so just finding new ways to express myself. I usually have 4 or 5 paintings going at once, or specific art pieces going at once, and it's part of living fearlessly in life, but fearlessly in art, and saying, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody doesn't like it. Well, that's okay.
Right. And
That's probably the newest painting, and that just experimenting with a technique, and then also a subject that I love because I play guitar as well.
Okay.
And so the music is very much deep within my heart, and
very good. So, will we ever see these on display, maybe in Peru? I know somebody here that likes to display art, so
yes,
it's
yes.
Cafe 160.
Yes, and she has Irene has talked to
Irene.
me about doing an exhibit down there, and she understands that part of it is my challenge of exhibiting several places and trying to keep pieces in production and pieces that sell and need to replace, and so. But we're working on some ideas for exhibiting there.
Yeah, because it's a good showpiece. She's got a lot of people coming through there to view the art pieces. So
Yeah.
hopefully you'll be able to get your art pieces in there sometime in the future. Remember, there's the art show that's going on at the Tacoma Hot Springs Resort, and that's going on for another month, you said?
For another month through mid-January.
Right, and that's their number there is 760-852-4420, and
they actually exhibit year-round, so when this exhibit comes down, the Tacoma Artists Guild will have another group show that comes in, and I'm a member of that, so there'll be multiple artists from the Pahrump area and even some into California and Las Vegas that will be exhibiting as well.
right, she's becoming well known. More people, the word of mouth, and also the people buy it and say, somebody else says, "Where'd you get that from?" I got it from this place, and where the heck is that? So,
Yeah.
so the word
Which
of
is
mouth.
good. Get everybody
Yes,
there.
yes. So any other final words before the end of the show? We have a couple, or another minute or so. Do you have anything, and you said 2 or 3 things in the fire right now while you're doing?
I do. I'm always transforming. Any surface I can paint is kind of fair game.
Do you ever teach art?
I do. I actually teach photography, beginning and intermediate digital photography from point and shoot to DSLR, and I'm in talks with a couple of charities even about doing some art classes for them. So I love teaching and taking people out and showing them great places to photograph. So.
That could be interesting to do that in the future, and then we'll see.
And I do have a website, so people can reach me.
Okay, let's give that real quick.
www.newlightphoto with an F design.com.
All right, thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you,
for
John.
watching us, and we'll return with some really big surprises for the next segment. All right, thank you once again. Thanks, Ryan.